Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah.
This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come on and tell the truth. It's an alarming choice for a man who has often struggled to unequivocally denounce white supremacists. You'll recall these moments.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Those words have power. They have meaning. And when Donald Trump speaks, the world listens. Neo-Nazis and white supremacists certainly listen. So why can't he denounce them? Why can't he reject their support?
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
What's your response to Donald Trump saying she should be fired, that Liz Cheney should be fired upon? He keeps speaking in these very extreme terms about the potential dangers to the country if he doesn't win in November. He's used words like bloodbath.
The collapse of the liberal media is looming, and the left has a message for the suffering media companies. Senator Bernie Sanders shared on X, if CBS caves, the belief that we have an independent media protected by the First Amendment is undermined. CBS stand tall, support the Constitution. Meanwhile, CNN and MSNBC are laying off staffers left and right. And Trump is predicting, quote, MSNBC is close to death. CNN has reached the bottom. This is a good thing. They are the enemy of the people. One of Trump's biggest foes, CNN's Jim Acosta, is also reportedly getting booted to a midnight shift from his 10 a.m. show.
To end today's show by thanking all of the wonderful people who work behind the scenes at this network. You may have seen some reports about me and the show. And after giving all of this some careful consideration and weighing an alternative time slot CNN offered me, I've decided to move on. I am grateful to CNN for the nearly 18 years I've spent here doing the news. I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. It has been an honor to be welcomed into your home for all these years. That's the news. Reporting from Washington.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is Jim Acosta finally leaving. He's finally leaving that trench hole of a news network, which news is abbreviated here because we all know CNN is a propagandist media outlet just like MSNBC, but that's here and there. He is finally leaving because, well, he got shit put onto the graveyard shift. He has to, we don't want you to be talking to us anymore. We want you to be on the midnight shift where very little people can see you and hardly see you lose your ever-loving mind. And, you can't go and be emotional and rage out over to Trump and all these other things because we told you to shut up and you didn't shut up. So now we have to move you to the graveyard shift. And he didn't like that. So now he is leaving CNN. And what we have this here from the New York Post saying, CNN anchor Jim Acosta goes on anti-Trump tirade before quitting over move to the late night slot. Embattled CNN anchor Jim Acosta announced Tuesday that he is leaving the network and took a parting shot at the Trump administration by urging viewers not to give in to the lies in a final on-air rant. Acosta, a former White House correspondent at CNN who often butted heads with President Trump during his first term, was reportedly slated to be relegated to the graveyard shift from his current morning slot. I think it's because Jim Acosta really, really hates Trump. I don't think it's butting heads. I think it's just immense amount of hate for Trump. I think he really hates him, and a good riddance for this guy because he is an absolute disgrace to news. He is a disgrace to everything. He is Trump deranged, and he can't withhold his emotions. He is a beta male man that cannot withstand his that cannot hold in his emotions. And as a May, this is what happens. He goes on to say here. He says, "You may have seen some reports about me and on the show, etc., etc. You have decided to move on because onto the yeah." But what we have here is that in his final message to viewers before signing off, the raging anchor equated Trump to a tyrant. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and and to hope, even if you have to get out your phone and record that message, he said. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear you from you too. Yeah, so of course this man has to go on a Trump range rant because he has TDS. He has severe TDS. That's what it is. And that's part of the reason why he was moved to the 12 a.m. slot. because you just cannot control your Trump derangement syndrome. You just cannot control your TDS. So because of that, you had to be moved to the graveyard shift to where the rest of the world can't see you or notice you. So that way you can't bring down the network. And the owner of CNN said, you guys need to cool it. You need to calm down on your TDS. Don't get emotional. And unfortunately, that's what you did. That you decided to become emotional, so now you have to quit. Goes on to say here, as a son of a Cuban refugee, I took home this lesson. It is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant, Acosta said. Acosta would be replaced in the mornings by the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer and Pamela Brown as part of a reshuffle of the ratings challenge lined up by CNN boss Mark Thompson. Thompson had reportedly offered Acosta a less prominent midnight to 2 a.m. slot and the opportunity to anchor the show from the West Coast, which, is even worse because if you're on the East Coast, that's closer to, that'll be closer to, well, depending on where you're at, probably closer to 3, 4 o'clock a.m. to, 6 to 7 o'clock a.m., give or take. And but if he's on the West Coast, well, everybody's just not gonna see you, right? Nobody is gonna watch your show because, well, they're all going to bed for work. So yeah, nobody's going to be watching your garbage. Instead, Acosta chose to pull the ripcord after 18 years at the network, saying he would announce more about his future plans in the coming days. And yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to create your own show and get no ratings at all, where nobody's going to watch your Trump deranged rants? Yeah, it's really quite interesting on what he's going to do here. I don't think he's, like all these reporters and journalists that are soon going to be on the chopping block, they're going to be soon out of the job and out of a career. But of course, these guys have been paying millions, right? They've been millionaires, they're multimillionaires, so they'll be just fine money-wise. Unless, they tanked all their money on other stuff that make them wasted, then they'll be poor like the rest of us. But, I digress. So, yeah, he is currently out of this. And, of course, as last week, Thompson announced a major restructuring that includes 200 job cuts, about 6% of CNN's workforce, and a strategic shift toward digital media. Layoffs primarily affected producers, editors, and non-essential air staff essential on TV operations. Thompson, a former New York Times executive known for steering the paper toward digital success, outlined his vision in the internal memo. Yeah, so this was bound to happen eventually, and a lot of these people are going to be on the chopping block as well. They are also going to be be questioning it, and Rachel Maddow is also on the chopping is not doing well either. Her ratings are also plummeting. So we're going to see how all this goes. These people are just not going to be living anymore. It is not going to be a good time for them because, well, of course, they've been telling lies for too long, and it's time for a new generation of people that actually cares about the media and cares about the American people and doesn't want to spout lies to rise up. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Let's guys share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted, 'cause it's algorithmic disease, the social media.